So the fight ends, and immediately the first thing I see is Dana's not in the octagon. That's the first thing that I see. When you see this happen, DC, does this kind of strike you as odd? Do you understand it? Is it something that normally happens, or are you like, nah, something's afoot here that's different? Because this is the baddest man in the world, DC.
Bro, honestly, it wasn't even just the belt. I don't think Dana was there for the main event. I didn't see him.
Wow.
Right? So when Mick Maynard got up to go and put the belt on, granted, we have seen this in heavyweights before. Do you remember when Stipe beat, I don't know who he beat, Francis. It was Francis. When Stipe was upset by the way that Francis was getting promoted, he took the belt from Dana and his coach put it on him.
Right.
So we've seen these types of things before.
That's different, though.
So, yeah, I get it. But, like, it was the athlete being upset with the promotion, so he didn't let him. This was, I don't know. I mean, I've seen other guys strap the belts before, but generally in international events. This was the first time I've seen a champion win on US soil and not have Dana put the belt on there. And I honestly don't know the last time Dana has not been at a post-fight press conference. Right. So we are in uncharted waters here. But not only because of the reaction the UFC's given, Ryan, but also because of where Francis stands in this position. Francis is in a position that not many people get to in regards to negotiations. Okay. And seems as though he's more than willing to sit up die on his sword. And die on him. He took a chance on himself. Yeah. And it seems as though he won. Yep. Because now he's still the champion. And now we're gonna see, this is unprecedented. This is going to really tell you how people are going to go about their negotiations, because we've never seen this before.
So here's my question, DC. I remember, bro, probably few weeks into this show, we are talking about Francis Ngannou, Ciryl Gane beats Derek Lewis, and you're saying that, okay, right now I take Ciryl over Francis. Well, you were wrong. That's first and foremost, right? but you also,
I think a lot of people did, right?
Right,
he was the favorite.
A lot of people, yeah. And so you also brought up Jon Jones, and we were talking about, could either of these two men beat Jon Jones? Could Jon Jones beat either of these two men? And Jon Jones said in his tweet, if this is the apex of heavyweight fighting, I'm excited about it. I got some more records to break. And then he says, I love how everyone gets so impressed with the new guy, laugh out loud. And he's like, y'all ready for daddy? Another LOL to finish that one off. And so when you look at Jon Jones' tweets, it almost seems that watching that fight with the two guys that are supposed to be tops of the heavyweight division, he's actually more encouraged or has more confidence that he could be the heavyweight champ of the world. Does the fight in any way change your mind of how you saw these guys against Jon Jones? Does Francis adding the wrestling make you think, okay, now he has not only the stand-up power, but he could take him to the ground as well?
You know, you got to remember, Francis Ngannou, the reason Ciryl Gane doesn't attack him in the way that he does other guys is because the danger is so present against Francis. That will never subside. He will always present that problem for anyone. Now, for Jones, he looks at that and he gains confidence from watching them in the fight playing out the way that it does. Because if Francis has to use wrestling, he feels as though he's a better wrestler. Right. He will be able to handle that, especially if he can avoid the power. For me, it's about Jon Jones needs to fight, right?
Yes, somebody.
At some point, you got to fight.
Right.
You got to fight. Like, it's one thing to be the champion, defending, fighting, or getting away. Even when him and I were going through our thing, he would get suspended, but then he would come back and he would fight. Even if that meant fighting over in St. Preux whenever I was hurt. But ultimately, he was fighting. Right now, he's just talking. It's like, he's just talking, RC. It's like, when are you going to fight? Because for as bad as it was, Francis had torn meniscus, Francis was hurt, Francis had bad training camp, all these things. Francis still fought. So you can say, well, they're not that good, but ultimately, they're still in there doing their thing. Why aren't you in there doing your thing? Right. You are one of the most talented mixed martial artists of all time. Why aren't you in there doing your thing against these guys opposed to judging them? Because for all the bad blood and all the bad stuff between Francis and the UFC right now,
He fought.
Francis still went out there.
Mm-hmm.
He went out there, he fought hurt, and he got a victory. So look, if you're going to judge the apex predator that Francis is on last weekend, know that you're judging a wounded apex predator. So you may think that he's not as good now because of what you saw, but maybe you're just putting yourself up for a bigger disappointment when you do finally make that jump.
You know, and the other thing is this, too. Our opponents, right, also limit our success. If I'm fighting someone that I'm completely better than, of course I look amazing. But if you're fighting another person who's one of the best in the world and you're also nicked up, it's going to be an issue. You're going to have to adjust. You're going to deal with some adversity. That's the way it goes. And Chris Brown, man, in one of his songs, he got a line, and he say, "How you gonna hate from outside the club? You can't even get in."
Dude, like,
you know, and so
you gotta fight.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.